let's start out with Senate Bill 1011, the one that you vetoed. From what I understand is that there's some confusion about the timing of that and whether by not officially delivering it to the Senate, by one measure, that veto is no longer valid. Do you have a comment on that?
Well, the legislature adjourned Thursday afternoon, and we're gone. They were gone from Thursday afternoon, and the offices closed down at 2 o'clock on Thursday, and they didn't open back up until this morning. And so there was I did notify the officers of the Senate, the President of the Senate, President Pro Tem, the action that I had taken. And in fact, they came down and read the veto message.
Does that constitute official notification?
I can't answer that question, and I think it's probably premature of me to say that that's what they've decided. I don't know that. I do know that that's one of the considerations that they have. The Constitution is pretty clear that any time the Senate cannot avoid delivery by adjournment. It says that right in the Constitution. Any other question?
Yes, Governor, in your veto message you said, "It is my firm intention to limit and restrict this type of gambling in Idaho to racetracks. Yet of the 3 current locations, only one is actually a racetrack, Lebois Park, neither the Greyhound Park in Post Falls."
Greyhound racetrack?
Well, it was formerly a dog racetrack, but it hasn't been for 15 years, nor the Double Down Betting Bar in Idaho Falls is a racetrack. Is it your intention to remove the machines from those 2 locations?
I think it was my intention that when the bill was initially passed, that it was to be kept at the racetracks. I heard that time and time again. It wasn't written anyplace. In fact, the condition was you had to have a simulcast license for 1 year. I can't imagine that anybody, all of those folks that voted for that bill are pretty much, they don't want to expand gaming in Idaho beyond its present limits. And we have parimutuel betting, and we have simulcasting at the Greyhound track in Coeur d'Alene and at the track in Boise.
So when you made reference in here to the Racing Commission, even today reconsidering an application in Idaho Falls, what were you talking about? Are you talking about?
I'm talking about at 2 o'clock on Friday. The Racing Commission did have an emergency meeting that had the proper publication and questioned whether or not that the letter that they had received from the Bonneville County Commission on the site in Bonneville County in Idaho Falls, whether or not that was the proper notification and approval, because somebody told me that what the letter said is we don't have a problem. Well, that's not the kind of approval, affirmative approval that we want to see in situations like that.
And so what was the outcome? I looked on their website, I saw no reference to that meeting.
I can't tell you.
Is it your intention to remove those machines from the Double Down Betting Bar, the off-track location in Idaho Falls?
It's my intention to go back to the original intent of the original legislation, was not to expand gaming beyond and gambling beyond where it was presently. And there was gambling at the racetrack, and at the racetrack.
Governor Otter, I was wondering, maybe in your own words, could you explain why you decided to delay announcing this decision? And by doing so, do you feel like you have opened up yourself or the office up to litigation?
No, I don't. That was out of my respect for the sponsors of the bill and the leadership.
But by doing so, this bill affects a lot of people. So, are you saying that your priority is to informing lawmakers over before informing the public?
I'm saying that my relationship with the sponsors of the bill and the leadership of the House and the Senate was my primary concern. Time enough when the message was read across the desk, or would be read across the desk. There are a lot of bills that have that kind of emotion and that kind of passion attached to them. But I still, out of respect for the leadership I informed them minutes after I treated the bill.
There's time for one more question, folks.
Between the moratorium and the call for an investigator to look into the machines, are you confident the machines currently in use are up to the intent of the law?
You know, I met with 9 different groups, and from 4.5 of the groups, I heard they were constitutional, and 4.5 of the groups, I heard they were not constitutional. And so I think we need somebody over the whole question, to oversee the whole question of gambling in Idaho.